My grandma's favorite grandchild got caught lying. And now she's playing the victim. It all started on a seemingly ordinary Sunday afternoon. At Grandma's house, the sun was shining, birds were chirping, and the smell of freshly baked cookies wafted through the air. My cousins and I had gathered for our weekly family get-together, a tradition that Grandma had maintained for as long as I could remember. It was a time for laughter, stories, and, of course, Grandma's famous chocolate chip cookies. Among my cousins, there was Lily, Grandma's favorite. She was the youngest, with big, innocent eyes and a smile that could melt anyone's heart. Grandma adored her, showering her with gifts and praise, while the rest of us often felt like we were living in her shadow. But we loved Lily. She was sweet and charming, even if she did get away with a lot more than the rest of us. That day, we were all sitting around the dining table, sharing stories and teasing each other, when Grandma brought out a photo album filled with pictures from her youth. The room filled with laughter as we flipped through the pages, reminiscing about the past. But then, something unexpected happened. Lily, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly piped up. "You know, I got an A+ on my math test last week," she announced proudly, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Everyone cheered, but I couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. Just a few days before, I had overheard her complaining about how difficult the subject was and how she was struggling to keep up. I glanced at my other cousins, who seemed equally skeptical. "Really, Lily?" I asked, trying to keep my tone light. "Are you sure it wasn't easy?" Lily's face flushed, and she quickly shot me a glare. "No, it was definitely an A+, she insisted, her voice rising slightly. Grandma, however, was oblivious to the tension. "Oh, my sweet girl, I'm so proud of you," she exclaimed, wrapping Lily in a warm embrace. I exchanged glances with my cousins, who looked just as confused as I felt. It was clear that something wasn't right, but we decided to let it go for the moment. After all, it was a family gathering, and we didn't want to ruin the mood. As the afternoon wore on, the topic of conversation shifted to summer plans. Grandma mentioned how she wanted to take all of us on a family trip to the beach, which instantly sparked excitement among us. We started discussing the logistics, but Lily remained unusually quiet, her earlier bravado gone. That evening, as we were leaving, I overheard Lily on the phone with someone. "I can't believe they bought it. They think I actually got an A+. I'll just keep pretending until the end of the semester," she whispered, her voice low and conspiratorial. My heart sank. I couldn't believe she was lying to Grandma and the rest of us. I know I had to say something, but I also didn't want to be the one to ruin the family dynamic. So I decided to confront her privately. A few days later, I found an opportunity. We were both at Grandma's house, helping her prepare dinner. I took a deep breath and approached Lily in the kitchen. "Hey, can we talk for a second?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She looked up from chopping vegetables, her expression wary. "About what?" "I heard you on the phone the other day," I said quietly, glancing around to make sure no one else was listening. "You didn't really get an A+, did you?" Lily's eyes widened, and for a moment, I thought she might deny it. But then she sighed, her shoulders slumping. "No, I didn't. I got a C. But Grandma is so proud of me, and I didn't want to let her down." I shook my head, but lying to her isn't the answer. If she finds out, it'll hurt her even more. Lily looked at me, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in her eyes. What do I do? I can't just tell her the truth now. She'll be so disappointed in me. I hesitated. "You need to come clean, Lily. It's better than her finding out from someone else. Trust me." But instead of taking my advice, Lily's expression hardened. "You don't understand. You're not Grandma's favorite. You don't know what it's like to be under that pressure." I was taken aback. "It's not about being the favorite, it's about being honest." She turned away, and I could see the wheels turning in her mind. I knew she was struggling. But I also knew that her lies could have consequences that went beyond just her grades. Over the next few weeks, I watched as Lily continued to weave a web of deception. She would brag about her A+ to Grandma, who beamed with pride. It was painful to watch, knowing the truth. Finally, the day came when the report cards were to be handed out. I was at Grandma's house again, and the tension in the air was palpable. Lily was a bundle of nerves, pacing the living room while Grandma baked cookies, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing. When Lily's mom arrived to pick her up, she had the report card in hand. "Lily, are you ready to show Grandma your grades?" She called out, a hint of excitement in her voice. Lily's face drained of color. I think I left it at home," she stammered, her voice shaky. Her mom raised an eyebrow. "Really? You're sure?" "Because I have it right here." Lily's eyes widened, and I could see panic setting in. "No, wait. I just want to keep it a surprise for Grandma." But it was too late. Her mom opened the report card, and the truth was out. "Lily, you gotta see," she exclaimed, shocked. "What happened to the A+?" Lily's face turned crimson as Grandma walked in, wiping her hands on a towel. "What's going on?" she asked, looking between Lily and her mom. The room fell silent, and I felt my heart racing. This was it. The moment of truth. Lily, her voice trembling, finally spoke up. I lied, Grandma. I didn't get an A+. I got a C. I was just so afraid you'd be disappointed in me." Grandma's expression shifted from confusion to hurt, and I felt a pang of sympathy for both of them. "Oh, Lily," she said softly, her voice trembling. "I would never be disappointed in you for your grades. I just want you to try your best." Tears filled Lily's eyes as she realized the gravity of her actions. "I'm so sorry, Grandma. I just wanted you to be proud of me." Grandma stepped forward, wrapping Lily in a warm embrace. "Sweetheart, I love you no matter what. Your worth is not defined by a letter on a piece of paper." But as they hugged, I noticed something unsettling. While Grandma was comforting Lily, I could see a flicker of something else in Lily's eyes. Was it relief? Or was it a glimmer of manipulation? I couldn't shake the feeling that she was enjoying the attention, even amidst the chaos. As the days went by, the family dynamics shifted. Grandma, while hurt, forgave Lily quickly, and they resumed their usual routine. But I noticed that Lily began to play the victim card more often. Whenever anyone brought up the incident, she would tear up, saying things like, "I just wanted to make Grandma proud," or "I can't believe I let everyone down." And just like that, she became the center of attention once again. While Grandma was genuinely trying to help her heal, I could see how Lily was basking in the sympathy. I couldn't help but feel frustrated. One evening, I decided to confront her again. We were alone in the living room, and I took a deep breath. "Lily, I need to talk to you." She looked up from her phone, feigning innocence. "About what?" "I know you're upset about what happened, but you need to stop playing the victim," I said firmly. "You lied, and now you're using Grandma's sympathy to get attention." Lily's expression hardened. "You don't understand, do you? Everyone loves me for being the sweet, innocent girl. If I admit my mistakes, I'll lose that." I shook my head. "You're losing it anyway. People see through your act. You need to be honest, not just with Grandma, but with yourself." She rolled her eyes. "Easy for you to say. You're not the favorite. You don't know what it's like to be in my shoes." I felt a surge of frustration. This isn't about favorites. It's about being a decent person. You can't keep lying and expect everything to be okay. But Lily just shrugged me off, and I knew I wasn't getting through to her. Instead, she leaned into her role as the victim more than ever. Every time we gathered as a family, she would recount the story of how she had let Grandma down, eliciting sympathy from everyone. Grandma, always the loving matriarch, would comfort her, and I could see how it fed into Lily's narrative. It was as if she thrived on the attention, and I felt sick watching it unfold. One day, I decided to have a heart-to-heart talk with Grandma. I wanted her to see how Lily was manipulating the situation, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I knew she adored Lily, and I didn't want to create a rift. "Grandma, can we talk for a minute?" I asked, finding her alone in the garden. "Of course, dear," she replied, wiping her hands on her apron. "What's on your mind?" I hesitated, choosing my words carefully. "It's about Lily. I've noticed that she seems to be playing the victim a lot since the report card incident." Grandma frowned, her brow furrowing in confusion. "What do you mean?" "I just think she's using your kindness and sympathy to get away with things. She's not taking responsibility for her actions," I explained gently. "It's not healthy for her to keep lying and manipulating the situation." Grandma looked thoughtful, her eyes clouding with concern. "I just want her to feel loved and supported. She's going through a tough time." "I understand that, but enabling her behavior won't help her in the long run. She needs to learn that honesty is important, even when it's hard," I urged. Grandma sighed, her expression softening. "You're right. I just want to protect her, but I don't want to smother her either." In that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe Grandma would see through Lily's facade after all. But just as I thought we were making progress, Lily walked in, and the dynamic shifted once again. "Hey, Grandma, guess what? I'm going to join the school play," she announced, her voice bright and cheerful. Grandma's face lit up with excitement. "Oh, that's wonderful, sweet girl. I can't wait to see you shine on stage." I felt a pang of frustration as I watched Lily bask in the attention once more. It was as if my conversation with Grandma had been forgotten. As the weeks went by, Lily continued to play the victim, and I found myself feeling increasingly isolated. My other cousins seemed to be falling for her act as well, showering her with sympathy and praise while I stood on the sidelines, watching the charade unfold. One evening, I decided to confront my cousins about it. We were all hanging out at Grandma's house, and I could see that they were still enamored with Lily's story. "Guys, can we talk about Lily for a second?" I asked, trying to keep my tone neutral. "What about her?" One of my cousins replied, looking confused. "I just think we need to recognize that she's not being honest with us or with herself. She's using Grandma's love to manipulate the situation," I said, my frustration boiling over. "She's just a kid, though," another cousin chimed in. "We all make mistakes." "Sure, but it's not just a mistake anymore. She's lying and playing the victim to get what she wants. It's not fair to Grandma or to us," I argued. My cousins exchanged glances, and I could see they were torn. "But she's so sweet and innocent. She just wants to make Grandma happy," one of them said. I felt defeated. "You don't see it, do you? She's only sweet when it benefits her. We need to hold her accountable." As the conversation continued, I realized that I was fighting a losing battle. My cousins were too wrapped up in their admiration for Lily to see the truth. It felt like I was the only one who could see through her facade, and it was exhausting. Finally, the day of the school play arrived. Lily was ecstatic, and Grandma was beaming with pride. We all gathered in the auditorium, and I could see how much this meant to her. But as the curtain rose and the play began, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease. Lily performed beautifully, and the audience was captivated. But as I watched her on stage, I couldn't help but think about the lies she had spun to get there. The applause echoed in my ears, but it felt hollow. After the performance, everyone rushed to congratulate Lily. Grandma was the loudest, showering her with compliments. "You were amazing, my sweet girl. I'm so proud of you," she exclaimed, hugging Lily tightly. But as I stood there watching the scene unfold, I felt a deep sense of frustration. I wanted to tell Grandma the truth, to make her see how Lily had manipulated her love and trust. But I also didn't want to hurt her or ruin the moment. As the evening wore on, I found myself retreating to a quiet corner of the room. I needed a moment to collect my thoughts and process everything. It was overwhelming, and I felt like I was losing my family to Lily's lies. Suddenly, I heard footsteps approaching. I looked up to see Lily standing there, a smug smile on her face. "You're just jealous, aren't you?" she said, crossing her arms. "Jealous of what?" I replied, my voice steady despite my anger. "Of me. Everyone loves me, and you're just the one who's always trying to bring me down," she said, her tone dripping with condescension. I shook my head, refusing to let her words get to me. "This isn't about jealousy, Lily. It's about honesty. You need to stop lying to Grandma and everyone else." Her expression shifted, and I could see the defensiveness rise in her. "You don't know what it's like to be in my position. You'll never understand." "Maybe not, but I do know that lying isn't the answer," I said firmly. "You're hurting the people who care about you." She scoffed, rolling her eyes. "Please, they'll always forgive me. I'm the favorite, remember?" And just like that, I realized that no matter what I said, Lily was too far gone in her manipulation. She had woven a web of lies that had ensnared not only herself, but also everyone around her. As the weeks turned into months, I watched as Lily continued to thrive in her role as the beloved granddaughter. Grandma remained blissfully unaware of the extent of her lies, and my cousins continued to shower her with attention and sympathy. But deep down, I knew that this facade couldn't last forever. Sooner or later, the truth would come out, and when it did, the fallout would be catastrophic. One evening, I decided to confront Grandma again. I couldn't keep watching this happen without saying something. I found her sitting in her favorite chair, knitting quietly. "Grandma, can we talk?" I asked, my heart racing. "Of course, dear. What's on your mind?" she replied, looking up at me with a warm smile. "I'm worried about Lily," I said, my voice steady. "I don't think she's being honest with you or with herself." Grandma's expression shifted slightly, and I could see the concern in her eyes. "What do you mean?" "I think she's lying about her grades and using your love to manipulate the situation. It's not healthy for her, and it's not fair to you," I explained gently. Grandma sighed, her brow furrowing. "I just want her to feel loved and supported. I don't want to push her away." I understand that, but enabling her behavior won't help her in the long run. "She needs to learn that honesty is important, even when it's hard," I urged. After a long pause, Grandma nodded slowly. "You're right. I just want to protect her, but I don't want to smother her either." In that moment, I felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps Grandma would finally see through Lily's facade. But just as I thought we were making progress, Lily walked in, and the dynamic shifted once again. "Hey, Grandma, guess what? I'm going to join the school play," she announced, her voice bright and cheerful. Grandma's face lit up with excitement. "Oh, that's wonderful, sweet girl. I can't wait to see you shine on stage." I felt a pang of frustration as I watched Lily bask in the attention once more. It was as if my conversation with Grandma had been forgotten. As the days turned into weeks, I continued to watch as Lily manipulated everyone around her. She thrived on the attention and sympathy, and I felt increasingly isolated. But I also knew that the truth would eventually come out. And when it did, the fallout would be catastrophic. The day of the next family gathering arrived, and I braced myself for what was to come. I could feel the tension in the air as we all gathered at Grandma's house. Lily was in high spirits, regaling everyone with tales of her latest achievements. And Grandma hung on her every word. But as the evening wore on, I could see the cracks beginning to show. Lily's confidence started to waver as her lies caught up with her. There were whispers among my cousins, and I could sense the unease in the room. Finally, as the night drew to a close, Grandma announced that it was time for everyone to share their news. "Let's go around the table and share something we're proud of," she suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. One by one, my cousins shared their accomplishments, and the atmosphere was filled with warmth and laughter. But when it was Lily's turn, I could see the anxiety creeping in. I I got an A+ on my last math test. She stammered, her voice shaky. The room fell silent, and I could see the doubt in my cousin's eyes. Really? One of them asked, raising an eyebrow. Are you sure that's right? Lily's face turned crimson, and I could see the panic setting in. Of course. I mean, I studied really hard for it. She insisted, but her voice lacked conviction. As the questions began to pile up, I could see Lily's facade crumbling. You know, I heard you were struggling with math last week, I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. Didn't you say it was really hard? Lily's eyes widened, and she looked around the room, desperate for support. I just wanted to make Grandma proud, she exclaimed, her voice rising in pitch. Grandma stepped in, her expression softening. Sweetheart, you don't have to lie to me. I love you no matter what. Your worth is not defined by a letter on a piece of paper. But Lily's tears began to flow, and I could see the manipulation in her eyes. She was playing the victim once again, and Grandma was falling for it. I'm so sorry, Grandma. I just wanted you to be proud of me, she sobbed, her voice choked with emotion. As the room filled with sympathy, I felt a surge of frustration. This wasn't right. Lily was using Grandma's love to manipulate the situation, and it was heartbreaking to watch. As the evening drew to a close, I knew I had to say something. I couldn't let this continue. I stood up, my heart racing, and faced the room. Everyone, can we please take a moment to acknowledge what's really happening here? I said, my voice steady. Lily has been lying to us, and it's time we hold her accountable. This isn't just about grades, it's about honesty and integrity. The room fell silent, and I could see the shock on everyone's faces. We can't keep enabling this behavior. It's not healthy for her, and it's not fair to Grandma, I continued, my voice rising. Lily stared at me, her expression a mix of anger and disbelief. How dare you? She spat, her voice dripping with venom. You're just jealous. No, I'm not jealous. I'm concerned, I replied, my heart pounding. We all care about you, Lily, but this isn't the way to gain our love and support. As the tension in the room escalated, Grandma stepped in, her voice calm but firm. Lily, sweet girl, I love you no matter what, but I need you to be honest with me. You don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. Lily's expression shifted as she realized the gravity of the situation. I'm sorry, Grandma. I just wanted to make you proud, she said, her voice breaking. In that moment, I saw a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. Maybe, just maybe, she was beginning to understand the consequences of her actions. As the night wore on, we all sat in silence, processing what had just happened. I could see the weight of the truth settling in, and I hoped that this would be a turning point for Lily. Over the next few weeks, things began to change. Lily started to take responsibility for her actions, and while it was a slow process, I could see her making an effort to be more honest. Grandma remained supportive, but she also began to set boundaries. She encouraged Lily to work hard in school, emphasizing that her worth was not defined by grades but by her character. As the summer approached, our family dynamics shifted once again. Lily began to thrive in a healthier way, and I felt a sense of relief wash over me. We all went on the family trip to the beach that Grandma had planned, and it was a time of healing and growth. We laughed, shared stories, and created new memories together. Lily even opened up about her struggles in school, admitting that she had been afraid of disappointing Grandma. It was a breakthrough moment, and I felt proud of her for taking that step. As we sat around the bonfire one evening, I realized that while the road to honesty had been rocky, it was worth it. We had all learned valuable lessons about love, trust, and the importance of being true to ourselves. And as the sun set over the horizon, I knew that our family was stronger than ever. Lily had finally begun to shed her victim mentality, and I felt hopeful for the future. As the waves crashed against the shore, I looked around at my family, grateful for the journey we had taken together. We had faced challenges, but we had also grown closer, and that was what truly mattered.